going on, guys? Quick shout out to our gold level sponsors, Anglesey Family Chiropractic. They're out in Spokane Valley. They're also here in Coeur d'Alene. Go check them out. Dr. Craig Anglesey is amazing. He'll get you feeling nice and good. Also want to give a shout out to Training is Ritual. These guys are a great MMA apparel company. They've also got gear to hook you up. If you're into death metal or horror movies or jiu-jitsu, leg locks, this is the brand for you. Really cool designs, very unique. Can't find them anywhere else. Awesome quality gear from Training is Ritual. Go check them out. Jon, you're a fighter and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, man. Thank you so much for taking time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'd like to start off going back a bit. I mean, you're a big dude. Like, what was childhood like for you? Did you always like lifting and getting big and stuff like that?
Well, what started is I'm actually a type 1 diabetic, and I wasn't really told that I would be able to do a whole lot of training and such. And I got diagnosed when I was like 11. So I was like, man, I fell in love with lifting growing up through high school, and I started powerlifting, and and I wanted to be the strongest I could. But I've always liked MMA. I've always loved watching it. And I worked at a nutrition store, and a guy who trained at the gym I'm at now, back then he's moved, but he was like, yeah, you need to come out, check out Premier Combat Center. And I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And I dabbled with a little bit of martial arts when I was like 16. And then, by the time I was 17, 18, I went over to Premier and started training. And then here we go at 20 years old, I'm still doing it. And we're competing and making it a career now. So.
Come on, man. How does that type 1 diabetes or a diabetic, being a type 1 diabetic, how does that affect your training at all?
It's an opponent that nobody else knows about. And so the thing is, like, aside from, really it's not horrible, but the thing is like when I'm training, it's another thing to think about. If your sugar goes low, you know what I mean? Before a fight with the weight cut, you have to make sure your sugars are on point. Or, if you go low during a fight, your performance is going to be terrible. Or if you're high, it's going to be terrible. So you really have to make sure you're controlling your numbers during training and fighting, or else, obviously you're going to have huge problems in your performance. So it's another thing to think about. But, as you have diabetes for a while, you kind of get used to how to figure out how to manage it and such. So it's not too bad. Gotcha.
Now, if Tapology is correct, you just had your first MMA fight like a year ago, right? And you're already 3-1.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's crazy, dude. Come on, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm 20 years old now. So my first one, would have been 19. And I'm supposed to have one May 29th, my first title fight as an amateur here. But it's I don't know what the deal is. I'm training like it's still on, but I haven't heard anything yet. It's like I said, May 29th, so hopefully we can make it happen. But I don't know. This whole coronavirus is just ridiculous. So I'm trying to stay ready, so I don't have to get ready. And that's the plan. But
best way to be, man, for sure. What was the reaction from your parents and your friends who were like, I want to go get in this cage and go do this MMA thing?
Honestly, my friends were like, oh, that's great. My parents were a little like, they weren't against it, but they just feared that I would get hurt, or that kind of the usual parent thing. Like, they didn't want to see their kid getting beat up or getting hit in a cage or whatever it is. So that's always a little hump, but they've come to my last couple fights and they loved it, and they're super supportive of it. So.
Nice. Your only loss came to this guy, Gabriel Freher or something like that, last September. Yeah. Is that a loss that you want to run back, or do you kind of take that loss and just learn from it, move on?
Man, there's a lot I could say about it. I personally thought I won that fight. You know what I mean? But here's the deal, man. That fight, the way the outcome went, was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And the reason I say that is my first fight, this big dude, he's got Division I wrestler, he's a boxer, he's pretty experienced guy. I didn't even know. Actually, the funny story, when I got there on my first opponent, and I'll get to the second guy, and I was like, man, I feel bad for us to fight this guy because he's huge. I mean, this guy made me look like a twig. I mean, this guy's ginormous, and he's like, his buddies told me he had a bunch of boxing fights, and he's a Division I wrestler, and I come to find out all this after. Well, I beat this guy, and then I go and I'm fighting Gabe, and I'm thinking my head's all big. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm going to be feeling good. First round goes great, and I knock him down in the first round. It was a really good round for me. If the best thing that happened was, I mean, granted, I always want to get a win, but if I would have finished him in the first round there, I wouldn't have learned anything. And what I learned is you can't fight at a pace that, you know what I mean, like too high of a pace. And I just went in there to go. And by the third round, I was exhausted. I didn't take any damage really in the fight. He just held me against the cage in the 3rd round. And look, their game plan going in, and I've actually trained at their gym, and we're all cool after the fact. And their game plan was like, you know, we're going to weather the storm in the 1st round and really try to grind out and do what we can to get a win. And they played their game plan. And that's why I don't leave it in the judges. You know, I was bitter for a little bit because like I said, I thought I won the fight, but
Sure.
A rematch, I think actually Gabe is done with MMA from what he told me. And I don't know. Here's the thing, as an amateur, rematches aren't really important to me because as an amateur career, your record really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All what matters is I want to see as many different looks and against as many different game opponents as I can, because by the time I go pro in the next year or two, then I'm ready to, I've seen, you know, different looks. I've seen a striker. I've seen good wrestlers, a jiu-jitsu guy. I've seen guys with more experience than me. And that's the goal. I want to fight the hardest fights I can as an amateur and get that experience now so that when I'm a pro, I'm ready to rock and roll for whoever. So.
Come on. Now, you've won fights on the feet. You've won fights on the ground. Do you have a preference of where you like to take the fight?
That's an interesting question, man. Everyone's starting to think I'm a jiu-jitsu guy now, but I prefer to stand up, and that's kind of my bread and butter. I'm actually planning next year to move to Tiger Muay Thai for a full year and train out there in Thailand. So I really want to divulge into that and just really, you know, I'm 20 years old. I'm about to finish up college here this year, and you know, what better time to go out and train full time in Thailand and get my striking where it needs to be. So
yeah. Dude, that's going to be awesome. Did you ever get scared or nervous before a fight?
Not scared or nervous of the fight because, you know, it's what we do. We train every day. We're getting hit. We're pushing ourselves to the brink every day. But the loss, for sure, the loss. Like, I never want – I'm very competitive. I always want to make sure I can, you know, forward my career because I'm putting, you know, most of my efforts into this sport. And winning is the way to forward your career in the sport. You win fights, your career is going to go forward. And so losing fights, it sucks, you know, and you know, you can learn from losses, but definitely the win and the loss is the big thing that is my battles. I really want to get that win. And because I know that I win this fight, I'm able to continue on the path that I'm trying to get to, you know, so. Yeah.
Now, you've had 4 fights now. When you get in the cage, are you still able to hear your coaches, or do you kind of get in there and have your game plan and just kind of do your own thing?
The first 2 fights, I was literally a madman. I didn't hear anything. I barely. Everything is a million miles an hour. My 3rd fight definitely slowed down. You know, I said, I learned a lot after the Gabe fight, so I really learned from that. I need to pace myself, and so my 3rd fight was I was listening to my coaches more. I was more relaxed, and then my last fight, I was 100% more calm than I've ever been. I felt like I belonged in there. I felt, you know, and granted, it was the first opponent, my last fight, that had less experience than me.
Sure.
And so I really felt like I could relax and just be, you know, in my environment. It felt like for the first time, the cage was like meant for me, and I was like belonged there, and I didn't feel uncomfortable in any way. So
yeah. Oh man, so cool to hear, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to shift to a few fun questions here for us.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got these things. They're called pod decks. Essentially, they're just random questions for us podcasters. I'm going to pull one out. Hopefully, it's not a flop, but we'll see what happens here.
We'll see. Yeah, for sure.
This one says, if you got stuck in an elevator and were forced to listen to only one song, what would that song be?
Honestly, that's tough, man. That is tough. I'd probably go like Dust in the Wind, because I'd be gone. I'd be a goner if I was stuck in an elevator. I'd choose that or my walkout song so I could get hyped up and try to bust out of the elevator.
Yeah, for sure. What's your walkout song?
Have you seen the movie Sicario?
Yeah.
It's if you look it up, it's called The Beast. It's like when they go over the border, it's that like dark theme that plays. It's actually really intense. Listen to it if you can after the podcast. It's good. Okay. Yeah, so that's cool. That's what I walk out to.
How much do you deadlift?
The most I ever hit sumo with straps. So straps make it a little easier. I hit 800.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Powerlifting was my thing before. Conventional, I hit 750 with straps. I never deadlifted without straps because I have hands like a girl, so I don't. I have terrible grip strength, so I'm like, I always use straps, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed you prep your meals a lot, but what's a favorite cheat meal for you?
Favorite cheat meal? That is tough too. Honestly, I don't get too crazy on cheat meals. I'll usually make like a really extravagant smoothie or something.
Okay.
That's usually what I like to do. Just load it up with whatever I want in there, and that's what I'll usually do. They call me Juice Box because when my blood sugar goes low, I drink juice boxes, and then they always see me drinking smoothies all the time. So all my teammates call me Juice Box because I'm obsessed with juice and smoothies. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Sure. There's this rise of bare knuckle boxing going on. Are you a fan of bare knuckle boxing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anything? Would you ever do that?
Well, one of my close teammates is actually Dakota Cochran. If you know.
Oh, nice. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So he he just knocked out Johnny Hendricks, and then he beat Chris Levin. And
come on.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, MMA is my thing, and I'd like to obviously get to the top in that. But man, if an opportunity for bare knuckle ever came about, you know what I mean? I think that'd be kind of fun. But we'll see. I mean, Dakota, man. Dakota, that guy's meant for it. He never wears wraps in practice ever. Wow. So it's like that guy's got hands of steel. So it's like looking at that, I don't want to break my hands. But the opportunity, I love testing myself and getting into different things. So
sure.
Who knows?
Who knows? Right on. One question I always have to ask: favorite type of music, or do you have a favorite band that you like to listen to?
Honestly, I listen to like anything as long as it's not. I like Johnny Cash if I'm going to go country, but really country's the only like limit. I don't like country too much.
Yeah.
But if I am going to do country, I'll do Johnny Cash. But other than that, whatever, as long as it's upbeat. I don't like sad music. I like music that's going to like get me going, ready to train or whatever it is. Even on like chill times, I'll listen to upbeat music. So
yeah. Love it, man. Wanted to also give you an opportunity to give a shout out to teammates, coaches, sponsors, anything like that, man. The camera's all yours.
For sure, man. Well, Twin J, Scott Johnson, man, he's my main guy, and he's working so hard. I want to shout him out, especially during coronavirus. He runs a big trucking company here in Nebraska, and they're delivering 3M masks right now.
Wow.
So they're running day and night, and he's taking care of me. He's been in my corner, helping me out. Talking to me when I need someone to chat with, whatever it is. And then, my coaches, Ryan Jensen, fought in the UFC several times. He's helped me so much get to where I need to be. And then Derek Minner, he just fought Grant Dawson back in like 2 months ago, probably.
Okay.
And those guys have been helping me so much just to increase my level. And it's really good in this sport when you got guys that believe in you. Scott, Derek and Jensen, they really want the best for me and on all my endeavors, and they see me as just a young 20-year-old who's willing to learn. And from them, all the advice, all the technique, whatever it is they have to offer me, I'm just willing to put in the hours and the training to get to where I need to go. So.
Very cool, man. Dude, it's been such an honor to have you on the show, Jon. I'm excited to see your career, man.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. If you could go and share this everywhere you can, leave us a review, leave us a rating. We would really appreciate it. That helps us get the word spread out about our podcast and about our show, and we can bring you amazing stories of the people that we bring on for the Bearded Biz and the Top Rated MMA Show. Thank you again. Have an awesome day.